Hello, my name is Victor Mendez Cross, and I am the FAE manager here at AVer USA. Today, we're going to take a little time and talk about our newest camera, the TR615. Let's get started. So the TR615 is the newest camera in our TR line, that is our auto tracking camera line. So our TR615 is a broadcast quality auto tracking PTZ camera with the three auto tracking modes that you're familiar with in previous TR products, those modes being presenter, zone, and hybrid, with the addition now of voice tracking when you're utilizing compatible third-party microphones and our PTZ Link Premium software or the MT300 device. Just like the rest of the cameras in our Pro AV line, this camera ships with an NDI license already baked into the camera. There's nothing additional you need to do in order to be streaming over NDI. Similar to the rest of our Pro AV lineup, this camera has multiple simultaneous outputs, those being USB, HDMI, IP, and SDI. So the TR615 is a 19x optical zoom camera with an additional 12x of digital zoom. Now there are a couple new features on this camera that I would like to go over with you. So the first feature is the addition of our 1-inch Sony sensor. This is the first time we've put a sensor of this size into one of our cameras. So what this is going to do, it allows you to capture a bit more light in your video just for a cleaner, truer 4K appearance. So if you look at the screen that I'm sharing, this is a low light environment with the new sensor versus without the new sensor. And the TR615 is the first camera in our lineups that has this 1-inch Sony sensor. Now, as I mentioned, the TR615 is our first step into the broadcast direction. So another new feature that we are adding for this product is dual 12G SDI outputs from the camera, as well as Genlock. So if you look at the front of the camera, you will see the power indicator as well as the IR sensor. And then we have a tally light on the front, as well as a rear tally light. On the back of the camera, we've got our RS422 outs, we've got the RS232 in, we have our Genlock, as well as our dual 12G SDI outs, with our standard HDMI, PoE++ port, and power. So on the back of this camera, we do have an audio input section. We have a mic in as well as a line in. But for the first time, we do have stereo balanced XLR inputs. So if you wanted to take your output from your mixer or your desk and go directly into your camera, that is an option for you with the TR615. Okay, so now that we've got our camera out of the box, the next thing we're gonna do is plug the camera into the network and set a static IP on the camera. This way, we can access the camera's web UI and configure all of the tracking as well as all of the image settings. So the easiest way to do this is going to be accessing the OSD menu on the camera itself. In order to do this, please run an HDMI cable from your camera to an external monitor and click the menu button on the remote control that came with the camera. Then you'll be able to navigate down to your network tab. You'll see your static IP, and you'll be able to set your IP address, and then we're simply going to browse to that on a Chrome browser. Okay, now that we've staticked the IP address, I went ahead and navigated to it. Let me put in my credentials. And once you're logged in, here you're going to see a live preview of the camera image. You might see that the camera image is delayed or it's lagging a little bit. This is expected. This is not what the actual camera stream is going to look like. This is just a preview video for you to then configure your camera image. So on your first tab, which is your live view tab, you have access to your camera controls, your autofocus, manual focus, PTZs, as well as this preset tab, which this lets you create camera presets. Our TR615 has room for up to 256 camera presets. And you have quick access to the first 20 right over here, 0 through 19. Your next tab is where you get to set your exposure as well as adjust your image, such as white balance, your gain, saturation, etc. On your video and audio tab, you're going to get to come in and select your video output. You're going to get to select your theme mode. Your theme mode are standard, zoom, teams, and NDI. What these theme modes mean is if I were to select zoom, it would essentially disable certain outputs and then leave other ones enabled. For a full breakdown of the theme mode, please see our user manual. On your network tab, this is where you're going to be able to set your host name. If you needed to change your IP address, you could do it here, as well as setting up your RTMP or RTSP security. So if you wanted to stream directly from the camera, this is where you would come and set that up. So the next tab is for our tracking settings. So if you will remember, this camera allows you to track with presenter mode, zone mode, as well as hybrid. And these are all integrated into the camera itself. There's nothing additional that you need to purchase in order to access this tracking. You plug the camera in, you have access to presenter, zone, and hybrid. And if you would like to see a more detailed look at these tracking modes, please reference back to our previous TR videos. On the NDI tab, this is where we are going to get to set up our NDI streaming capabilities. The TR615 already ships with an NDI HX3 license built into the camera, so there's nothing additional you need to do there. But if we come to the WebUI's page, this is where we are going to get to set up our receive groups. If we want UDP, if we want it to be multicast, that's all going to be taken care of under the NDI tab. And our final tab is our system tab. So in here, this is where we would come to upgrade our firmware. If we needed to factory reset the device, change our credentials, the language, etc. If you wanted to export your settings, so if you were having an issue with your camera and we needed our engineers to take a closer look at it, you would come to the System tab, click Export. But as a rule of thumb, I always recommend that people already export and have a camera configuration saved, so that if something were to happen to your device and you were to get an RMA, you could then just load your exported configuration into your brand new device. Okay, thank you so much for watching. This has been our video on the new TR615 auto tracking camera. If you would like more detailed videos on this device, please stay tuned to our channel because we will be uploading some new videos soon.